All right. Well, thanks for joining us today, Tom. It's great to have you here with us to talk about all things data and how companies can leverage a data-first mindset along with a stellar data stack and data team to create the nexus of growth, which is the name of our show. Let's begin with a really obvious question, and that's how has your role evolved since you became Chief Data Officer at Checkatrade, and what skills do you think are crucial for leaders in the kind of position that you're in?
Thank you very much, Sid. It's much appreciated for having me on. The main thing that I think has evolved at my role as Chief Data Officer of Checkatrade is that I now play a key role in giving away data to the organization, to step up the organization to be data literate and to use the data itself. As I was growing into this role, my role was mostly around building data products, building data assets, and really giving value to the company via the data that me and my team provided directly. But I see that becoming more and more indirect. I think the phrase "give away your Legos" by Molly Graham. I see myself now as kind of chief Lego giver away, if you like, in the organization. And I think that's how my role is really shaping up to be in the organization of the future.
So that's a really interesting segue, Tom. But now I think the question that comes to mind is, what are some of the growth strategies that you've seen the rest of the business deploy that have been powered by the data foundations that your team has set for the business? What are some of the more interesting growth strategies you can talk about that you think others could embrace and learn from?
Definitely. So I think, look, the main thing that when you're building strategies my mind immediately goes to models here that you're able to provide, whether that be data or machine learning or AI models. The main things that you can give to the business are the core foundational models for whatever business that you have that you're running, right? So fundamentally, in terms of Checkatrade running a marketplace, I see that the main models that we need to build are personalized recommendations. So top of funnel, what can you do to drive demand into the business? Can you do that by recommending jobs to be done? Can you do that by potentially predicting the next jobs that anybody would need to do on their own? And many others, maybe even image generation of image search. And so it's really driving top of funnel traffic. And then once you've got that, searching and matching, right? Can you match that traffic to a tradesperson to get that job done? So who is the ideal tradesperson to do the job that you have just been inspired to do? You need to build an algorithm or a data set to be able to enable. In previous organizations I've worked at, maybe it was more around optimizing workforce and to be able to make sure that you're able to deliver the contract that you've just won in the most efficient way, because that's how you make incremental margins. Or maybe it's reducing downtime by predicting defects, on your machinery or your widgets.
Yeah.
The key for a data leader is really to be tapped into the business, and your growth strategies around data will come from you really understanding how the data is going to drive business performance.
Yeah, that's true. Again, another hot topic in today's world, and this is obviously an emerging data technology, and that's generative AI, right? And I think a lot of people are trying different applications, but it would be fascinating to hear from you. What does the new world of generative AI mean for data leaders of today and data teams? And what are the applications that you know of that you've seen proven can accelerate business growth?
It's a very good question. I mean, look, the generative AI boom that we have at the moment is fantastic, and it's opened the eyes to many new possibilities. I think in the data analytics space in particular, it's something I was predicting a little while ago. It actually formed the basis for my justification for hiring a data governance function at Checkatrade over 2 years ago now, just before the takeoff of ChatGPT, and it was all around, can you actually have a question and answer bot to perform the analytics for you, right? So can you, instead of having an analyst do simple analytics, like, how many widgets do I have in the South region? Can I just ask that question and can it generate the answer for me? And then also remember the context and answer its follow-up questions, right? So of those widgets, how many are blue? These are day-to-day questions that, currently it might take an analyst maybe 2 or 3 minutes to write some code, but it might have to wait in a queue. The two ways, obviously, of speeding that up is one, democratizing the data, obviously, but two, maybe you put generative AI over the top of it. Now, that's a good idea, but fundamentally, you need to have really good governance of your data. Your data needs to be well organized. It needs to be well described. It needs to be well tagged. The generative AI, the LLM cannot understand things that you haven't told, right? So you need to make sure that you've got that in place. And that's a journey that we're on at the moment. And we've done some trials with this, and we've had some small successes, and to be honest with you, Sid, some small failures as well. And I wouldn't say it's something that we've rolled out massively at the moment, but it's definitely something that remains on the roadmap.
Are there any applications from other large language models or data sets that you've seen that can be brought from outside into a place like Checkatrade to accelerate
Yeah,
any sort of growth strategy?
so I think a very interesting one is around Amazon and what they're doing there with their review summarization. I think that is super powerful, right? Especially giving people a clear overview of what other people are saying. Nobody really wants to scroll through the reviews. And I find myself now, I don't know about you, Sid, but when I was looking at reviews previously, I always used to look at the 1-star reviews first.
Same
And
here.
so,
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly. Yeah.
Because if somebody who was saying this product was rubbish was saying it for a reason that was blatantly false or facetious, then I could prove that this was probably a pretty good product. But I find myself stopped doing that now with Amazon in particular. With an AI summary of all the reviews there it gives me, I'm happy just to rely on that as a pretty good
Oh,
overview
fantastic.
of.
Well, thanks for that, Tom. This is now the last segment of our conversation today. What are some of the things that you're reading today, books or articles that you would recommend future data organization leaders to pay attention to?
It's a very good question. The current book I'm reading is Non-Bullshit Innovation by David Rowan, which I think is an excellent book that kind of looks into the innovation industry and what works and what doesn't. I think as a data leader, we are all actually in the innovation game, right? We want to build new products with data. We want to look at the way that data can best impact the business. And this is a really great one that kind of tells you what can work and really what to avoid as well. So I really do recommend that. It's a good read. The other book, that's I'm listening to an audio book at the moment when I get a chance. The book I'm actually reading with my eyes is Endurance by Ernest Shackleton, more about Ernest Shackleton, apologies, which really kind of charts his adventure to the South Pole and the terrible things that happened on the way that I managed to get through it with excellent leadership. And I think is a not just a book about leadership, but a book about humanity as well. If I was to say, one of the more left field ones, maybe not that left field, but I've recently reread all of the Hitchhiker's Guide, increasingly inaccurately named trilogy. What stands out about that is not just the incredible wit and humour of Douglas Adams, but actually how ahead of his time it was. He was an incredible technologist for his day and age, and some of the things that he was describing there about the way that technology integrates with humanity is really stood the test of time, and one of my favorite books. And now I've reread it as a grown-up, actually just rekindled my love for those books.
Fantastic. All right, Tom. Well, thanks very much. This was a really interesting and informative and educational conversation. Glad to have you on the show. And if anyone wanted to reach out to you, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
You can find me on LinkedIn, Sid. There's only, I think, one Tom Pandolfo on LinkedIn. Actually, I think there might be two, but he's a lawyer in Midwest America. So I'm the CDO in England.
Fantastic, Tom. Thanks again. Speak soon.
Okay. Thank you, Sid.